Okay, we're back again. So there is no limit on this one, but I still want to keep it short. I just filmed that last video today as well. So, anyhow, I am making pancakes. And I'm going to talk about how there is such... I got a big-ass skillet, by the way. I got a new skillet, and it's huge. So I can make 2 pancakes at the same time. So hopefully, this won't take as long as it used to. But anyway, I could probably make like 3 at the same time, actually. Anyways, here's the thing. The performative issue, like I said before in the last video. Whenever I hear, like, we're at the point where, like, you kind of can't tell if the person is being performative or if they just genuinely like this thing. Because there are so many avenues now and things that are kind of considered performative, honestly, if we're going to keep it a stack. So, here's the issue, right? Whenever, personally, when I hear a thing online, there's part of me that goes, this is performative, right? Especially once it gets a lot of attention on social media. Like the quarter zip or the matcha or the whole I'm going to go to a coffee shop and read books in public, and then when somebody asks me what I'm reading, I'm like a giant fucking nerd. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So, like, a lot of this shit feels performative. And I was reading this article I was talking about in the last video. And one of the examples for this performative behavior was getting your Spotify Wrapped to, like, having a certain artist is like your top artist in your Spotify Wrapped. And I think that is so fucking dumb. I'm going to be so honest with you, because Spotify technically already tracks your data. It has to give you Spotify Wrapped. But not even that, right? It does that. And you can kind of game the system to get a certain artist in your top whatever, right? And it's so lame, dude. Like, genuinely so lame. Like, why do you care? I want my aesthetic to fit my Spotify Wrapped. Are you stupid? No one gives a shit, bro. Like, actually. Like, whenever somebody tells me, like, oh, I got this is my Spotify Wrapped, I'm like, cool. And if they want to talk about it and not be a fucking nerd, go right ahead. But if you honestly think your Spotify Wrapped, like, says something about you, you might have a problem, and you're honestly, once again, performative. Because it means nothing, bro. It literally means, like, ain't shit. And that's the problem. We got this yesterday, too. We got a new spatula. That's the issue, is that these people tie too much of their personality to objects and things, right? And I think this is, like, a pretty common development, if we're going to be honest with you. Because I see it a lot. I see it a lot where somebody goes, they have no interest in something until they start seeing it online. Which is ironic. It's ironic that that's where we're at. That's where we're at in society, is that you can't like something until somebody else has made it popular to like something. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, genuinely. Like, if you look at my Spotify Wrapped, or the things I'm listening to most often, it's a bunch of shit nobody's heard of. And that's okay. That doesn't make me a special snowflake, or some underground connoisseur of rock and metal music. It just means I like this specific thing. Excuse me. Even if the band I really like has only 2 albums, I will listen to those 2 albums on repeat, like once a week. I'll put that album on and listen to both of them once a week. That's completely normal. But the problem is now we're like romanticizing the idea of like, this is what this is supposed to look like. And it's like, who fucking cares? Who cares at the end of the day? Like, really? I don't understand it at all. It makes no sense to me. I mean, you do what you want. Is it already almost 12:30? Holy shit. Anyway. Makes no sense to me, makes no difference to me, to be totally honest with you. Because I'm at the point where I like what I like and I'm just gonna like it. I don't care. Like, here's the thing. If you genuinely fucking like matcha, go drink matcha. If you want to go get matcha to attract the fucking Starbucks chicks, the Starbucks baddies or whatever in the coffee shop, then you have a problem. You got a problem. And this is why the performative shit is causing problems in other aspects of your life. Because I was saying to my father one time that my one friend told me, he said, when we were in high school, my friend told me, he said, you don't get girls. Not that I was trying anyway, but he said, a lot of people don't get girls because they do a certain thing they don't like. And he was like, so you gotta wear these kind of clothes and have this kind of haircut and have like this kind of like volume when you're speaking. And I said, hey brother, guess what? If I go changing shit, I'm not me anymore, 1. And 2, if I get a girlfriend who likes the me that's not me, it's gonna fail anyway because I'm inevitably gonna give up the me that's not me, the performative side, right? So this is why you shouldn't be performative. Because if you be performative, you will make friends who think you're this guy over here when you're actually this guy over here. You're the real guy, not the guy pretending anymore. You see what I'm getting at? That's the problem. That's the problem at the end of all this, is that people think that once they do this, that, and the third, they'll have it down and they'll be doing what they want to be doing. But it's not, because you're just fronting the whole time. So it really makes no sense to me why somebody would go and do this shit, but whatever. So like, there's no thing I've seen, and I was like, well, people like this, so I have to like it. Like, we'll say Star Wars, for example. Because Star Wars used to be a really big deal, right? And when I was a kid, Star Wars was really cool. I actually really liked Star Wars because you had the Lego games and you had, you know, the classic movies, you had the original trilogy, and those were good movies, and those are the ones I grew up watching. I didn't watch the prequels or any of that other stuff. I just had the classic trilogy. And then I kind of fell out of interest with it because the classic trilogy was like the only thing that was actually good. Let's keep it a stack, bro. I don't like anything else from Star Wars, really. Like, in my opinion, the coolest thing Star Wars was like your classic trilogy and The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed was like, honestly, the best Star Wars video game ever created. Because they took God of War and made it Star Wars. And that was awesome, dude. Like, it was so cool because you could, like, do so much damage and shit to people, and you could, like, throw them around with the Force. And when you'd push them, it would, like, show this giant-ass shockwave. And it was cool. It was like a power dynamic fantasy, a power fantasy game. And 6-year-old me loved that shit. But you're not going to see me sitting here going, oh, well, if you didn't play Force Unleashed, you're not a real Star Wars fan. That's fucking stupid. That's stupid is all that is. That's the worst part about this performative shit, is that no matter what you do, bro, there's always somebody who's experienced something that you haven't, right? And there's always something you've done that somebody else hasn't done. Like, I'm a big movie guy. I'll be honest with you. I am a big movie guy. I don't like TV shows. I don't like I don't like TV shows for the most part because they take way too long to get to the point of why you're actually watching this. So, for example, and this is, I wouldn't say this is performative, but this ties into what I'm saying, is like, I don't believe you have to like the shit that I like for us to be friends. Because that's so lame. Like, all my friends are very different people from me. Except for like one or two. And I wouldn't say I decided to do that, it just kind of happened that way. But the difference is that I like talking to my friends because we aren't the same person. You see what I'm saying? So I can talk about things that I've done and things I like doing, and they can talk about things that they've done and they like doing, and we go and do things that the other person likes doing, and then we all try different things, right? So like that's the difference, is that with the performative shit, is that the performative shit, everyone has to be the same all the time. And that just doesn't work. That just doesn't work. Because everyone is trying to, not everyone, but all the performative people are trying to be, like, they're trying to fit into, like, a certain niche of human being. And it's fucking weird, because human beings are, like, the most complex creatures on Earth. If we're gonna keep it a stack. Human beings do shit that no other creatures do. Humans have friends. Animals don't do that, right? Animals legitimately don't have friends. I don't know if you're aware. Animals have packs and they have mates. They don't have friends. Animals don't date either. They just kind of pick one and they stick with it because they have to, right? It's different for them, right? And they don't have friends because they have the pack, and the pack is more like a familial dynamic, but it's very strict, right? Where, I know this is kind of a tangent, but the pack, if you get left behind, you get injured, you get left the fuck behind. They leave you, right? So humans are very complex creatures, and we're the only things that act like the way we do, right? There's no social dynamic with animals. There's no, we don't experience love the same way. Like elephants, when their spouse dies, like their mate, whatever, dies, they remember that for eternity, till they die, and they don't ever mate again. You see what I'm saying? So like, humans are the only things that act like us. There's no other comparison. We're just human, right? So the whole thing is, right, if humans are so diverse and incredible and skilled at so many different things, why the fuck are all of you trying to be the same all the time? Why? Makes no sense to me. It honestly makes zero sense to me, right? Because like I said, if somebody tells me that what I like is lame, I just know they're fucking stupid. Because guess what? Not everyone is born to like the same things. That's the funniest part about all this. Is that if we were all born to like the same shit, like I would tell my coworker, I'd say there'd be one TV show, one movie, one car in one color, and one brand of clothing. There'd be one type of jacket, and there'd be one type of hat. You see what I'm saying? So like the performative shit is so lame because it's like I'm trying to get people to like me for this facade I'm putting out there, right? For this character I'm playing. And I understand that because when I was a kid, I used to play on Xbox Live, and people would assume that I was either much older, or they would assume that I'm a different race or something. Like, people would always assume that I was a black person. They would always assume I'm a black guy. And I don't know why that happened, but that was just like, the people I would hear, I would kind of like echo their style of speaking and their vocal patterns and their accent. That's why I've also had people tell me, like, you sound like a New Yorker. You sound like you came right from fucking Staten Island, right? Came right up from out of there. And you went down to the fucking pub and got you a fucking drink. Got you some fucking pizza. Like, I'm not saying I'm good at it, but when I would hear things as a kid, I would hear people I liked talk, I would kind of parrot it. I would kind of work that in there somehow and like subconsciously do it, because I've had people tell me I sound like I'm from New York. And that's not intentional. It just happens sometimes, because that was happening during my my teenage years, my adolescent years, where I was like building who I was. So I understand why that happened, but I don't do these things on purpose anymore. And I don't sound like a fucking New Yorker so I can have an interesting conversation. I just talk. Right? I just talk. And it happens sometimes. I'm not trying to be a different person. Right? Like sometimes I'll sit here and yes, indubitably. We was down at the Grand Station, and we were sitting there, and we come on out and fucking the little boy come on down, and he was playing football, and I said, "What are you doing playing football, little Jimmy?" And he said, "I want to go to be in the big," you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do that. I don't go to the store and so I don't talk like this. So I go to the store, and I'll come on down in there and I go, "Yeah, I was just kidding. Just getting some fucking petrol, and you got any fucking you guys got any fucking grapes in the back? I'd like get some fucking grapes, because if I got some fucking grapes and some fucking cheese, oh my lord, it'd be so phenomenal. It'd be so phenomenal out here." In this outback, for me to get a fucking ribeye. Like, I don't do that, right? I would never go into a store and act like that. I'm not saying that's like, ooh, I got burned a little bit. I'm not saying that's like bad behavior or like punishable behavior, but it's like you're performing. You literally are performing. That's the problem here. So the difference in all of it is, in my opinion, is that when people say just be you, it's hard to explain why that's good and bad advice. Because when you just be you, if the person that you are sucks, don't do that. But there's like levels to who you is, if that makes sense. And who you is technically whoever you decide at any one time. Because if you think about it, right, there are sides of you who are serious, or who are, mellow, or there are sides of you who are comedic and lighthearted, but you're not all of those all the time. What you are is the collection of all of that put together, right? So if you are an asshole and someone goes, "Oh, just be yourself," you should probably front the good parts of your personality and not the asshole part. That's what I'm getting at here. So the performative shit is very, it has a stranglehold on young people, I think. Because everyone they think it's still high school, right? Where they're like, I am this character I created, right? And that's just unhealthy. That's an unhealthy way of perceiving reality. As just being, I am who I thought up myself to be. And that just doesn't really, it's just, all it does is it drains you more, because you have to like uphold this standard of like who this character is. And that's honestly the problem. That's the problem. And that's why a lot of people, I think, feel drained all the time. Because it said in this article, if you have 10 different platforms and you're a different character on every platform, you have to maintain 10 different personality types. That's why when I'm on here, or I'm on Snapchat, or I'm on the Xbox playing with the homies, or I'm talking to my dad, or I'm talking to, the guys at work, I'm basically the same guy all the time. You know what I mean? I'm never, like, sometimes I'm a little more pragmatic, or I'm a little more optimistic, or I'm a little more this or that, or I'm a little more happy, I'm a little more mellow. Yeah, that happens, because people are people, and we're not always feeling the exact same way. But I'm the same guy. I'll never do anything that is out of character. Right? Like, you'll never hear me say something that's like, oh, why? He said that? What? He did that? No way. I don't believe you. That's, like, see what I'm saying? That's like how this performative stuff really is. Is like, if somebody told you, if you knew me personally, if somebody told you that I got a matcha latte at some third party cafe, they'd be like, is that an alien? Did he really do that? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how you can tell you have an actual real personality, is because somebody won't ever sit there and see you do something and be like, is this the same guy? You know what I mean? That doesn't happen if you're not performative. And when you are performative, it does happen because you do things that you would not essentially normally do. Like, I know who I am. I'm never gonna go to college to study to be a doctor. That's not what I want to do, like a medical doctor. So if somebody told you I did that, you'd probably be like, what? He did that? What? I thought he hated that shit. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people want to tell you who you're supposed to be. And I don't like that, man. A lot of people want to tell you how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to think. And if you do this, that means this. And if that means this, then this means that. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to this. And it's like, I don't like that. Just let me be me, bro. Just let me be me. Because if I'm not me, then I don't know even what I'm doing here, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Because if you have no sense of self, you have no sense of the reality around you. Because you are the vector for which you explore reality. And if you don't know who you are, you could struggle exploring reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know that you don't like space science, you're not going to go study space science, for example. But I know that I am actually interested in history, especially like American history and world history and events that what happened to these people to cause certain world events. Like, the number one thing I remember from high school was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which started World War I. And he was killed outside of a sandwich shop by some, I don't remember who they were. They were radical. I think they were anarchists. I'd have to go back and read that. But they didn't like him, and they didn't want him in this foreign nation I believe he was in. And they killed him, and that started World War I, which is so crazy to me. I have an ad right now, hold on. Which is so crazy to me. So, like, that stuff genuinely interests me. But I'm not going to ever do something where I was like, yeah, I don't really like this. See what I'm saying? I'm not going to go explore a career or a hobby that I know I don't really like. Like, you're never going to see me sitting there collecting Pokemon cards. You know, no matter how popular it is. That's simply because I'm just not into it. If you like Pokemon, phenomenal. You can talk to me about Pokemon if we're personal friends. I had a friend from work, actually, who played Pokemon Go. And he's an awesome dude. I still talk to him every once in a while. But I had never any idea what he was talking about with Pokemon. And that's fine. That's great, actually. Because now I'm getting information and insight about a thing that he likes that I would never even think about, right? Because he was like, oh yeah, you gotta get your dude. And for example, so you gotta get your Geodude. Once you get your Geodude, you level him up, and then he becomes he evolves into some other thing. And then you gotta feed him, and then you put him in the training thing. And I was like, this is cool. Because not that I would do this, but it's cool that he likes doing this, right? It's cool that he likes talking about this. And that shit's rad. To be totally honest with you, that's rad that he likes doing that. But, any closing thoughts here? Any closing thoughts? Just stop. Here's the thing. Stop being performative. Just do what you want to do. Like, if everyone tells you that you should, if you like leather jackets, you should wear black leather, but you like brown leather, go get some fucking brown leather. Do what you like doing, man. Or if you want blue leather, you want a blue leather jacket or a red one, some cool, because I have a black and yellow one. I have a black and yellow leather jacket from Infamous 1. But anyway, if you like wearing shit like that, just go do it. Just go fucking do it. And now here's the thing. If it becomes popular, don't stop doing it. Because now you're not being true to yourself. Right? Because I was always into Marvel comics and video games growing up. Like, see, I got my Wolverine shirt on right now. This is Dark Wolverine. That's Wolverine's son, Dakin. See, you probably didn't know that because you're not a nerd. Look at that. Anyway, I'm in a goofy mood today. But after Marvel got popular with the movies, I didn't go, yeah, fuck this shit, bro. I'm out, because now it's popular. And I only liked it because it wasn't popular. See what I'm saying? Like, don't do that stuff. But if you're gonna, like, be normal and just, like the things you like, then just do that, bro. That's the problem, is that things get popular or things get unpopular, so they stop liking them. And it's like, this is such a weird thing to me. What is it, honey? My cat's yowling again. It's just so bizarre to me. I don't really understand, like, how this even happens. Oh yeah, brand new nonstick pan. Everything came right out of there. Oh yeah. Anyhow, I think I'm going to cut it here. Thanks for watching. If you have anything you want to say in the comments section, put it down below. I know people don't like watching the long videos, I can tell, because all my most popular videos are the ones that are under 10 minutes. But I don't care. I know the core audience watches these ones, so that's just as well as, that's well enough, right? So thanks for watching. If you want to put something in the comments, please do. I love conversation and talking about things. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. This is technically a two-parter, so anyway, goodbye.